And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Thursday, January 9th, 2025. And we're going to start off with, if you'd like additional weather information on top of what I provide in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It'll bring you to a website with the continental U.S. map and Hawaii and Alaska to the lower left and tabs for the various territories. Most importantly, we like to share information as to what else is happening across the nation because people are constantly coming and going from Alaska, and many of us originally are from some other location in the country. And big weather news. There's two big weather things going on in the lower 48 on this Thursday. First, the catastrophic wildfires in Southern California around Los Angeles, and then a significant winter storm impacting areas of the South. From the lower Ohio Valley across the Tennessee Valley, we're looking at the potential for as much as a foot of snow just north of Little Rock. This is a winter storm warning that extends from Oklahoma, North Texas, all the way across the Tennessee Valley into areas of the Western Carolinas, North Carolina into Virginia. The southern extent of this area will include freezing rain and sleet, an icy mix. Areas further north, generally 3 to 6 inches of snow with locally higher amounts. It doesn't take much wintry weather there in the south to cause major problems, but by far, international weather story has been the series of wildfires that have broken out in Southern California due to very strong Santa Ana winds and very dry conditions. And I just want to quick set this up for those of you who may have friends and family in this area. I spoke with a childhood friend who did some very preemptive evacuations out of Pasadena on Tuesday afternoon in advance of these fires really taking off. There are winds at least on Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning were gusting as high as 80 to near 100 miles an hour, especially along some of the ridge lines coming out of these foothills. And then we've had, as areas of Los Angeles, only 1/10 of an inch of rain since May. Think about that. Imagine in Alaska, you only had 1/10 of an inch of rain since May. That's crazy. This satellite imagery shows these Santa Ana northeasterly winds fanning those flames and sending the smoke over the Pacific Ocean. This curl here, that is the initial area of smoke that was released on Tuesday into early Wednesday. This is the newest batch. It's been horrific. There are at least 4 major fires, being the Palisades, Eaton, Hearst, and Sunset fires. The Hearst and Palisade fires, the one there around Palisades, Malibu, and on up around areas surrounding Pasadena, there have been estimated now close to 10,000 structures damaged or lost to fire, just in those 2 fires, and they are still not under control. We have strong winds, but they have come down a bit, and it does look like the winds will not be quite as strong as we go into the day tomorrow. But nevertheless, it is just a devastating situation there around areas of LA. Now, here in Alaska, we're going to be dealing with a series of wet and windy storms Friday through Tuesday that are coming up off the North Pacific, crossing Aleutians into the southwest and west coast, and then also coming up into the Gulf. Mountainous areas, coastal mountainous areas, mid and higher elevations are going to get some very heavy wet snows. Then areas at sea level and a little bit up in elevation, rain. And the runoff from the rain is going to cause creeks to rise, rivers to rise, and there's also going to be overflow because a number of these areas still have ice on them. We have strong winds too. Strong southerly flow ahead of these lows could bring some more record temperatures in the 40s along areas of southern, southeastern parts of the state. And just looking ahead through mid-month and beyond, temperatures should cool down a little bit closer to near normal across much of the state, maybe a bit colder than normal in the northwest. But above normal precipitation will still continue across the areas of southeast Alaska, especially the Panhandle, maybe the southeast mainland. So one of a couple of areas of concern, Kipnik on over toward Quagillingock. thickening cloud cover, but there is a coastal flood advisory in effect for that area as we go through Friday morning into Saturday morning. We have strong winds associated with a low coming in there to the southwest coast. You're also going to see some snow or a light mix of precipitation. Temperature there right now 18 degrees. And then Homer getting some wet snow right now, winter weather advisory, at least a few inches of wet, heavy snow possible through midnight tonight. There could be a little mix of sleet or a little freezing rain. Temperature sitting there at 34. So here are the advisories, special weather statements, watches, a lot going on. First things first, we have the winter weather advisory, western Kenai, Homer on up through Soldotna, Nikiski. Going to be some moderate snowfall through midnight. I would say 2 to 5 inches, depending on where it stays all snow, and it could be a little bit of mix thrown there. Not a lot of wind, it's a wet snow. We have a winter storm warning for above Skagway up there to White Pass. There could still be an additional maybe few inches of heavy wet snow on top of what already fell today and last night, and that's through midnight tonight. Then we have this winter weather advisory out here for the lower Yukon back toward the St. Lawrence and Nunavik Islands. That's for Friday noon through Saturday morning. 2 to 5 inches of snow mixing with some rain, little freezing rain, messy situation. Then we have along here the Kuskokwim Delta. We have the coastal flood advisory. Water levels, especially Kipnik on over toward Pogilingok, could be as much as 3 to 6 inches 3 to 6 feet above the normal highest tide when we have the high tide time frame coming up here between Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. And then with another series of storms, first one right now is coming across the Aleutians. We're going to pass up here toward the southwest. We got another low that's right here, and then another one coming up for Saturday, and another one for later Sunday into Monday. So it's going to be very busy. But these areas in blue highlight hydrologic outlooks and just active weather outlooks, northeastern Gulf Coast and the Panhandle. Any one of these areas are going to see some periods of heavier precipitation at sea level, mainly rain. You get up into the coastal mountains, or as you go up in the Alaska Range, could be some heavier snowfall, very strong winds, warmer temperatures going to lead to melting snow, causing river and creek levels to rise. And with the ice that's still in place, there'll be overflow and the potential for some minor flooding in some areas. Also, we have high avalanche danger around Summit Lake on up into Turnagain. Past this area of the Kenai Peninsula, you're going to be getting additional heavy precipitation and strong winds, so the avalanche danger will likely go up in this area. Considerable avalanche danger near Valdez up through Thompson, past that area as well, so keep that in mind if you're thinking about going into the backcountry, especially in those mid and higher elevations. Now here's the first area of low pressure coming north out of the North Pacific. It's already lifting up along toward the northern Gulf Coast and weakening, already pushing in moisture into areas of northwest Canada. And then we have another low. You can see the curl in the clouds here, just approaching the central Aleutians. And that is going to be the low that comes up here and pushes into the southwest on Friday into Saturday morning. So here we have it as of this Thursday afternoon, the low, kind of a double barrel little low down around 980, 982 millibars. And the front already, the secluded front already pushing inland. We have another low down below 960 millibars here entering the central Aleutians. As that lifts northeastward, it's going to fling this secluded front up along the southwest coast, Bristol Bay, Kuskokwim Bay, lower Yukon Delta. So that's going to overspread kind of snow and a mix of precipitation. This feature will weaken as we go into Friday. The low along the Gulf Coast just kind of weakens to a trough. There'll still be some lingering areas of light rain or rain showers in at sea level and in inner channels. The mountains still picking up some additional light snow. Here comes that low pushing milder air, stronger south winds there along the Kuskokwim Bay. That's that coastal flood advisory, and then also spreading some accumulating snow across the lower Yukon Valley. Here comes the next low for Saturday. This one is down here, 962 millibars, and yet there's another low that's going to be coming up from a similar location later this weekend, Sunday into Monday, and that could have bigger impacts over the western Gulf, south central areas as we get late into the weekend and early next week. So Saturday afternoon, still troughiness, some lingering light showers along the Gulf Coast, inner channels. This low encounters a little colder air further north, but here comes this low here out of the North Pacific will be the next one. As that comes northeastward, It's going to have more moisture. That's why there's this winter storm watch for the lower middle Yukon Valley for Saturday evening into Sunday night. 6 to 10 inches of snow could fall from around Anvik on up toward Ruby. So keep that in mind. You're going to have strong winds, warm winds coming northward from the southeast south. Alaska Range will have high winds. We'll have strong winds coming up around Turnagain Arm, other areas. So just keep that in mind as we go through the weekend. Temperature-wise, Friday morning lows generally at or above 40 here in the Panhandle. Areas of around Cook Inlet, we're stopping upper 20s, around 30, even though there has been some snow. Coldest readings tonight into Friday morning, below zero along the North Slope Arctic coast. Friday afternoon, we're looking at temperatures interior. It could be as cold as 6 above at Fort Yukon, otherwise teens, some 20s. Still a bit below zero, North Slope Arctic coast. Low mid 40s, especially middle southern Panhandle. Some 40s showing up, Middleton Island, Homer, Kodiak City, extending down toward the Alaska Peninsula and on over toward Unalaska. And then for Saturday morning, we find the coldest temperatures, Yukon Flats, 10 below. 10 below-ish there along the North Slope and along the Arctic coast. Readings generally above freezing there, Juneau, southeastward. Readings near freezing, Anchorage Bowl. And looking at Saturday afternoon highs, we're looking at readings in the 40s. There's going to be quite a push of milder air. At some point later this weekend or Monday, there could be some 50-degree readings, say Sitka down toward Klawock and Metlakatla. Notice temperatures moderating along the Arctic coast. We're seeing readings getting back up above freezing here, especially downsloping over the Alaska Range with that strong southerly flow. There could be some near record high temperatures over south central, south and east central areas of the interior as we go through the late weekend. Keep in mind, it was just a week ago that we were looking at temperatures 50 below zero in the upper Tanana Valley around Tok and Fort Yukon. So it's been a remarkable turnaround in terms of the pattern, the warm up and the moisture that's come back into the region. Now looking at temperatures as we go around and past mid-month, January 15th through the 19th, the Climate Prediction Center anticipates near normal temperatures along the Gulf Coast, up through much of the mainland, with the exception of the northwest areas from the lower Yukon Delta, Imanak, on up toward Nome, Kotzebue, Utqiagvik. Those areas may see temperatures average a bit cooler than normal. Otherwise, near normal temperatures expected over across a good portion of the mainland, southeast, and the trailing out down through the Aleutians. Precipitation is expected to be above normal, especially the southeast interior, north way down through McCarthy, and then east-southeastward across Yakutat into the entire Panhandle. So this area could continue to see weather systems coming up, bringing more moisture. Backside here, maybe closer to normal precipitation from the middle Yukon Valley north and westward, all the way to along the Arctic coast and down along the west coast.